Water is life. It is the essence of our existence and the foundation of all living things. This is especially true for rural India, where over 60% of the population depends on groundwater for its daily needs. In these areas, groundwater is not just a resource, it is a lifeline that supports daily living and sustains communities. From drinking and cooking to irrigating crops and watering livestock, groundwater is the invisible lifeline that sustains millions. It is the unseen force that nourishes the land and supports the livelihoods of countless families. This reliance on groundwater is even greater in arid and semi-arid regions, where surface water sources are scarce and unreliable. In these harsh environments, groundwater is often the only dependable source of water. For generations, these underground aquifers have been a source of resilience for rural communities. They have enabled people to thrive even in the face of challenging climatic conditions. They have provided a buffer against droughts and ensured food security. By tapping into these hidden reserves, communities have been able to sustain agriculture and maintain their way of life. However, this precious resource is now facing a grave threat: groundwater pollution. Contaminants from various sources are seeping into these aquifers, jeopardizing the health and well-being of those who depend on them. What was once a source of life is slowly turning into a source of disease and despair. The very water that once sustained life is now becoming a cause of suffering and illness. The very activities that sustain rural livelihoods are also the ones polluting our groundwater. From farming to daily household chores, every action has an impact. The Green Revolution, while boosting agricultural production, also led to the excessive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. These chemicals, intended to protect crops, have unintended consequences. These chemicals seep into the ground, contaminating the aquifers below. Over time, this contamination accumulates, making the water unsafe for consumption. Untreated sewage from villages and towns is another major source of contamination. Without proper treatment facilities, this wastewater carries harmful pathogens and chemicals. With inadequate sanitation facilities, wastewater often ends up in open pits and drains, eventually percolating down to the groundwater. This not only affects human health, but also the ecosystem. Industrial waste, often laden with heavy metals and toxic chemicals, further adds to the problem. Factories discharge untreated waste directly into the environment. Unregulated dumping and improper disposal methods allow these contaminants to leach into the ground, posing serious risks to groundwater quality. The cumulative effect of these practices is a growing threat to our water resources. The contamination of groundwater is not always visible. Harmful substances like nitrates from fertilizers, arsenic from natural deposits and industrial waste, and fluoride from rocks are often dissolved in the water, making it look and taste normal. However, these contaminants have long-term health impacts. Exposure to high levels of nitrates can interfere with the blood's ability to carry oxygen, leading to a condition called blue baby syndrome in infants. Arsenic is a known carcinogen and can cause skin lesions, cardiovascular diseases, and various forms of cancer. Fluoride, while beneficial in small doses, can lead to skeletal fluorosis when present in high concentrations. Section 4. Ailing villages. The price of polluted water. The health consequences of groundwater pollution are being felt across rural India. Cases of skeletal fluorosis, a debilitating bone disease, are rampant in areas with high fluoride concentrations. Children are particularly vulnerable, often suffering from dental fluorosis, which weakens their teeth. Waterborne diseases like diarrhea, cholera, and typhoid are also on the rise due to contamination from sewage and agricultural runoff. These diseases disproportionately affect children and the elderly, leading to malnutrition, stunting, and even death in severe cases. The long-term exposure to these contaminants can lead to chronic kidney diseases, liver damage, and reproductive health issues. Section 5. A crisis on our hands. The magnitude of groundwater pollution. The scale of India's groundwater crisis is alarming. The depletion of this vital resource is not just an environmental issue, but a humanitarian one as well. According to recent estimates, over 25% of the country's groundwater is contaminated. This contamination includes harmful substances like arsenic, fluoride, and nitrates. This means that millions of Indians are unknowingly consuming water that could be slowly poisoning them. The health implications are severe, leading to diseases and long-term health issues. The situation is particularly dire in the Indo-Gangetic Plain, home to some of the most intensively cultivated land in the country. This region is heavily dependent on groundwater for agriculture. The over-extraction of groundwater for irrigation has further exacerbated the problem. As farmers continue to draw more water, the water table drops, leading to increased contamination levels. As water tables decline, the concentration of contaminants increases, making the water even more toxic. This creates a dangerous cycle of dependency and degradation. This is a vicious cycle that we need to break free from. Addressing this crisis requires urgent action, sustainable practices, and community involvement to ensure a safer future.